On the Socceroos, obviously you've got the upcoming game this week in Melbourne, but for something that, again, being a player, you see everything that people kind of say or what they write, and I didn't know you personally until I came here to Japan, but I really want to touch on it because I saw the hate, let's say, you were getting before the World Cup. In the qualifiers, there was a lot of pressure on Arnie. For whatever reason, some fans just don't like a player, and I feel like when they start saying stuff, then other ones just jump on the bandwagon. They probably don't even watch the game. They probably don't even understand football, but they feel like they've got a right to kind of hammer this person. And I got nothing wrong. You know what? We get paid money to play football, so they have a right to say whatever. That's their call. No worries. But
Yeah.
I was like, when I got here to Japan, I'm like this guy cops it a lot, and he's a good player. Like, you were on fire in the A-League. You come to Japan. You were doing well in the Socceroos. You're getting picked. Of course, you're not going to say to Arnie, "Oh, listen, Arnie, I'm not going to play this
Yeah.
weekend," because the people on Twitter they're smashing me and saying how shit I am. But the resilience, I guess, that I want to touch on from it, for you to be able to handle that, for all the, I guess, the stuff that you were going through. You then go to the World Cup, and then getting ready, like you touched on, moments. Football's all about moments. And in the first game, obviously, you lost to France, and thanks for sorting me out with some tickets as well for the World Cup games. Then the second game comes, and what a moment! I was actually sitting with your family, rock up to the game, everyone's buzzing. Cross comes in, and you've just obviously scored
The receding hairline helped me out. The receding hairline.
the most memorable goal. And then to celebrate, like you said, the sacrifices, everything you kind of give up with time with your family, to then be able to celebrate with your son or with your whole family, but do the celebration with your son. Just talk us through a little bit of the hate that you're getting. Did that affect you? And then that special moment that you got to share with the whole country, but especially with your family there in the stadium.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, to be fair, I look back and I laugh as well because I did feel like there was a time where I was probably maybe even a bit of a scapegoat. I was that targeted man, being like, I think because of maybe the stigma I had on me, the way I playing in J2 as well. People probably felt like, there's players playing in better leagues more regularly and things like that as well. Like I said, it's all opinions, and everyone's entitled to their opinion for sure. But the main ones that matter is the head coach. He's the one making those selections. And then it's up to you as a player to repay that faith and belief if they give you the job to be the starting player and help the nation. For me, obviously, you have moments where no matter what, I think I even had times where my mum was sending me screenshots being like, these guys were sending like such like hateful messages being like, he's shit, he's this, he's that. Why is he getting selected? Like, he shouldn't be anywhere near the national team and blah, 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 whatever. Like, for me, I think as well, yourself, who you are, like, from my experiences, maybe it would have affected me in my first couple of years as a young player, seeing that kind of stuff. But for me as well, like, I just know in my head, the opinions that matter are the ones that are within the football world, the ones that are making the big decisions, like the coaches, the coaching staff. And as long as you feel like you're at that level with your teammates and you don't feel out of your depth, I had that belief in myself to be able to get the job done. I had moments where I was feeling the pressure because it is a little bit scary, knowing that I was being the main man chosen in that Peru match to to qualify for the World Cup in that playoff was nerve-wracking, knowing that everything's on the line. You're the leading man. The leading man's expected to do the big things and score the goals and win the games. Didn't do that. We went to penalties, but I know Arnie expects so much more of me outside of the goal-scoring aspect, which is why he likes me with the way the national team is set up and how we play. And then we got pumped by France in the first game. I was thinking, actually, that was my World Cup campaign finished. And again, then he gave me that belief. He actually gave me a little bit of a battering after that game because after 20 minutes against that France juggernaut, I felt like I was chasing shadows in that first 20 minutes. And I actually looked at Arnie because he was yelling out to me to do more. And I like waved my hands up. And I was like, oh no, like Arnie's called me out on that as well. He's like, mate, like, that's such a negative attitude. You don't need to do that. Just, you have a job, just do it, kind of thing. And when he battered me a little bit after the game, I was like, oh shit, that's me done. But then he's like, mate, I just need you to like get that negative mindset out of you. I need you again for Tunisia. And for me, that probably actually helped me a lot. I was like, how much belief he had in me, and I really want to repay that. And I mean, the rest is history with that game. I was just so happy to take that moment because it's about big moments in games and taking it. And for me, lucky enough, everything worked out. I'll probably try that header 100 more times. I'm not hitting it how I did. I'm hitting it either straight to the goalkeeper or missing the target. But it worked out in that moment, and that's all that matters. And then to be able to share in probably what I would say is the biggest and most special moment in my career was to share that celebration with my boy, just grasping all of what you just said, all the sacrifices I had made, going through a divorce, being away from my kids, missing them grow up and all their milestones. And the only reason you're doing that is to play the sport that you love, but at the same time, you're setting up their futures. And that's the only reason you're making that sacrifice, is to make that money to give them a better life, while probably at the detriment of your self-happiness at times when you're isolated and lonely in a country abroad you probably won't live in, but you're there to make enough money to help your family. And when I was able to share in that moment, and I always say credit to the cameraman who made that moment happen as well. It was panning to me, panning to my son. To be able to share in that moment was I would say one of the most memorable times in my career. And I'm so thankful and happy that, again, Arnie played a huge role in that belief. And for me, I saw a thing the other day, actually. I feel quite proud, actually, to say throughout all that, I know I still get hate. I saw again, I got now announced today in the national team setup. I still see people be like, I'm sick of Duke. I'm sick of seeing Duke. Like, maybe people hate my face. I don't know. But I was like people just forget now, like everything's done at the World Cup, and now they want young-blooded strikers, which is to blood in young strikers and stuff like that, which is fine. And for me, like, I don't want to get in the way of that, but if I feel like I can still do a job, the coaching staff still think I can do a job, I'm going to put my hand up to help the nation, because I still feel like I can do the job. And I have the backing of my teammates, I have the backing of the coaching staff, and that's all I need. And I'll never get in the way of, like, if there's players doing more, I know Arnie's going to give them that chance. Right now, he knows I can do the job that he asks of the striker, because it's a lot more than the attacking side of things with Arnie's style. But funny enough, I saw this thing. What I'm going to get back to is, it was like, funny enough, like, who would have thought Duke would probably be the leading man in one of our most successful times in our history? Really, we had our most successful World Cup campaign. Finished as higher rank. We broke some records in the process of, and probably during a very tough time during the COVID things. We played only probably like 2 or 3 games at home out of 20 during those qualifying processes. We won 11 games straight during that, broke that record. I've been a big part of that, and I can look back and be proud of that. I was the top scorer during that World Cup qualifying campaign. So I do think a little bit of the hate is probably not completely warranted, but you take it on the chin and you laugh about it, and you just be like, you know what, that's their opinion. I might not suit their style. They like someone that's a bit more exciting, like Aaron Kunda now, because I'm buzzing to see Yengi. I think he's a huge prospect as well, and I'm glad to see him get selected into the national team. So for me, I'm excited to see what the young boys can do. But right now, if I feel up to it, they're competing with me, I'm competing with them, and that's how it is.
Yeah,
that's fun.
Oh, Fred.
Fuck you lot, where's the beer?